All right, there we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello and welcome to No Particular Order, Mana Biscuit's weekly top 5 list show where we list our top 5 whatevers in no particular order. This week, top 5 video game protagonists.
We did it! We did it!
Hello and welcome to Mana Biscuit. This is episode number 34, your weekly geek variety show podcast. That's what I'm going with this week.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, TJ's going to do a song later.
Yeah, it's a really big shoe. It's a really big shoe.
Really big shoe. We got Jacob Gamble. Jacob Gamble is with us this week, and also TJ Rathburn going to be singing to us later.
Just as an aside, I realized that more often than not, one of us, mostly me, just starts bellowing horrible lyrics to songs.
It's
true.
Yes.
Off-key, horrifying performances is the hallmark of this show.
Yeah, I would say that's one of the many things that puts the mana in our biscuits. All right, but Jay, we're gonna start with you this week.
Oh, goodness.
Gonna turn the attention on you because
the attention hasn't already been on me and my lack of watching Daredevil, which I finished.
yes.
Yay!
And you were underwhelmed with, so this will be Jay's last episode. I just want tell us about your experience, Jay.
Honestly, it was good. But it just it up until the tail end didn't feed the hype that was set forth by it. I mean, it's the same it's the same thing with I've been late on a lot of things. I really have, due to other commitments or just my desire to tread lightly whenever somebody says, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever." So it's up there with the Harry Potter stuff for me, which I did long after the hype train died on it, and just it's good, but it's not great.
You're a monster.
Jay, nobody likes that guy who's like, "Oh, everybody's into this. It's probably garbage."
Yeah, there's a word for that, and it's called hipster.
I am
God,
so
you're
not
such a hipster.
I know.
That's like the ultimate low blow to Jay too, really.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
He doesn't. I mean, you don't even beard, bro. You don't even beard.
I know.
Well, he eat beards, just not properly.
Not properly.
No. It's all.
He's like, oh, everybody thinks full beards are cool. They must be awful.
No.
So let's just pretend it's 1997.
Anyway, as much fun as it is.
Did we really? Ouch.
Oh,
All
I
right.
frequently wear a goatee too, and I know that it makes me look like I'm stuck in the mid-90s. It's okay.
I haven't worn a goatee in years because I realized that after having worn goatees for most of my life, they look awful. But anyway. No, Jay, you're really pulling that off.
This really is my last podcast.
No, you look fabulous, Jay.
You look good, man. You look good.
Thanks.
What else? TJ.
Well, I did go after my original Xbox One took a tumble and broke. I went out.
Throw it down the stairs.
It may or may not.
Did it get pregnant, or did it owe you money?
Yes. But no, it
Where's
did
my
take
money, Xbox?
And thus died on me only after a couple of weeks of having it.
But you got it replaced.
I got it replaced.
And you bought a game for it.
And I bought several games for it. And
what was that game, Jay?
Yeah, tell us your wise choice.
Because
Jay.
I think going back to
back
the early episodes, I think I played this game and gave it middling reviews, but that's back when the show was still terrible and I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
Yes.
I thought I just had to talk about things.
For somebody that
much like
should have
today.
known better, I went out and made my first game. Which, if we backtrack a little bit, we had this conversation about the fact that I wanted to play something epic as the first game for.
Yeah, I remember you saying
game.
that. And boy, did you F that up.
Yeah, no kidding, man. No kidding. Ultimately, I played Final Fantasy Typo.
Yeah.
And I mean, my train of thought was you can't go wrong. It's Final Fantasy. It's got to have something good to it. I played the first hour and a half, and
you would have been far better served to get like the Final Fantasy X HD remakes if you really wanted to play a game that looked like congealed monkey ass on your fancy new system.
This is an Xbox, not a PlayStation, and thus.
Oh, they didn't do that on Xbox either.
Oh
No.
man!
Oh man, that wasn't even an intentional Xbox burn. But guess
I
what?
thought for sure that was intentional. But
No,
Why don't you just get the
Bloodborne.
Master Chief Chronicles and call it good.
Oh, there you go.
Actually, Halo 5 is next up on my list. Halo 5 or Fallout 4.
I hear it's mediocre. So
Fallout 4 is really good.
Yeah. But I have The Witcher 3 to play right now.
Witcher 3 is my favorite game of the year.
Which I'm going to jump over to and very, very quickly abandon Typo. Despite I'm probably going to throw up the code for the preview for Final Fantasy 15.
No, play that. That's actually worthwhile, and it's.
No,
only...
I'm going to. That's
I thought you said throw it up like you were going to give it out, and I'm like, don't do that.
No, I was going to throw
stupid.
it up on my. They download.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So that's interesting.
That was exciting week.
Yeah, that's more than you've done in a while. But you did have a few days off this week.
I had a few days off that needed. I still had obligations, but hey, it was some free time, which is more than I typically get.
All right, TJ, you finished Jessica Jones.
I did.
Yeah, I finished Jessica Jones literally after we stopped filming last week's episode. I sat down. I was on episode 4. I sat down like, I'll watch a couple episodes before bed. Next thing I knew, it was 7:30 in the morning, and I was done. I binged the last 9 episodes of that series. I really liked it. TJ, I think you really liked it. Why don't you tell us about it?
I did really like it. I finished it over the course of the holiday weekend. I think that much like I postulated last week, that it does have the same problem with pacing that Daredevil did, which was that it was designed to be binged, and so it very much picked up in the last handful of episodes. I do feel that there's a lot of there was a certain amount of repetition. Like the same things happened over and over. Oh, we're gonna go and do this. Oh, It's been foiled. We're gonna go and do the exact same thing. Foiled again. Exact same thing. Foiled again. I feel like they put a lot of focus on the main storyline of just like Jessica versus Kilgrave, with very little like exploration of anything else, and that they maybe could have gotten away with exploring some other aspect of these characters.
Sure.
And I also found myself, once I hit a certain point, I want to say right around episode 8 or 9, like everything was just great from then on out, and I'm left with a very positive feeling about the series. And then I realize it's because I mostly forget that about some of those early episodes, because they're so similar in like the plot and like the narrative structure to episodes later in the season, but the episodes later in the season actually had payoff.
Sure. I think in some ways the theme of the series, and I don't want to spoil anything because obviously it's only been a week, and I don't care about Jay, but other people out there probably haven't finished it either. But what you're talking about in terms of the repetition, I think there's a payoff for that in the end, and in the change of perspective, which is about as specific as I can say. The change in Jessica's perspective on how she needs to deal with Kilgrave, I think, is served by that repetition that you're talking about. And I think the way it finally does end, which I mean, the actual moment itself could be considered anticlimactic, but if you take it in context with that repetition and the constant failure and what had to change because of that, and the key moment that came right around episode 8 or 9, I think, and if you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about, where she did realize she has to change how she's approaching this problem. I think it's all served by that. And your point's well taken then, that it's being paced out as a series, or a British series or an American season. But it does pay off in the end with the way things pan out. Your other point there, I think, about how different characters could have been fleshed out more. I had that thought while I was watching it as well. But at the same time, I think they needed to leave some of Luke Cage for his own actual series.
Right.
So,
but like, I felt that in Daredevil, there were tangents that they moved into, where there was the episode about the Kingpin. There was the episode more focused on Foggy. There's episodes, there's plenty of stuff about other characters. And it wasn't all Daredevil just, I'm gonna get the Kingpin. Other stuff would happen, and you'd have other things to deal with. And in this one, it was very focused, very just like, it's Jessica and Kilgrave, and that's it. And then they did do some exploration of the characters that were around.
Well, right. There was the cop, and his journey was probably the biggest side plot that they had.
Right.
Yeah.
But it would have been kind of interesting, and it's so apropos of the type of show that it is, as a kind of noir detective story. If there were other cases that she were working on that intruded, or that were made more complicated by what she had to deal with, just showing that other stuff was happening.
Yeah. I think they probably could have done more with that. There were things that they did do. There was the one case early on in the series that ended up being tangential to the Kilgrave case, but still a key moment in the series, and that sort of thing. But anyway, it's going to be hard to talk about this more without getting spoilery, so I think we'll abandon that tactic for now, and some week Jay will be sick, and we'll just have a Jessica Jones spoiler cast.
Yay.
Unless I start.
Yeah.
I intend to start it tomorrow.
You intended to start Daredevil too. That's all I'm saying.
I'd also like to say on the, like, man, Netflix is just doing some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Not just with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but if you guys haven't given Aziz Ansari's
I've been meaning to get around to that. I've been hearing pretty good things about it.
Master of None was very good. Very good. And it's super short. It's like 10 half-hour episodes.
Yeah.
So just super quick and snappy and funny. Much better than I anticipated it being. It's a good show.
Aziz Ansari is a really funny guy. I mean,
he is.
He's probably my fourth favorite character on Parks and Rec, but that's just because they're all my favorite characters on Parks and Rec. So,
oh man, I don't know who's my
Ron, Andy, Leslie, Tom. That's the ranking I just did in my head right there. Yeah. So, but
like Ron and Andy are like right there next.
Yeah, I was just gonna say mine goes Andy and Ron, but
yeah, that's fair. But for me, there's
all of the bacon and eggs that you have.
Yep. But yeah. So that's cool. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt was
so good.
Really good too.
Yes.
And that was actually originally slated to be an NBC show, but Netflix is like, nah, gimme. And yeah, fantastic. But yeah, love the Netflix. Who doesn't, right? So yeah, this week, episode 34, in which we Netflix and chill.
Is this one? Is this the?
This is a carryover from last week.
I was just gonna
when
TJ
was talking about TJ was talking about all that pizza.
Yeah,
which they also brought that study up on Wait Don't Tell Me. I'm like, oh, I know about that because TJ apparently is attracted to me. But it's all right. It's all right.
You guys should
Happens
be
to the best
chilling
of us.
on the couch as opposed to.
Yeah. Well, anyway, what else happened this week? There was Fantastic Four is getting benched until they have to make another movie to save the rights. So, yeah. Did any of you guys even? I know the answer to this, but I'm just going to ask for the theater of it. Did any of you guys even bother with the last movie?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I watched so many bad comic book movies. I'm so dedicated to them, and I couldn't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
Nope.
There was an interesting little post-mortem article on that where, who was the director? He was
Trank.
Yeah, he
Trank?
did some like fancy art film. I can't remember which one it was.
He did Chronicle, didn't he?
I don't know.
Chronicle?
I'm
Chronicle
completely blanking on it. My brain wants to go to Lars von Trier, but I know that's not him. But I will just say, for the record, while you guys are looking it up, that a Lars von Trier superhero movie would be amazing.
Yeah, it would be weird, but it would be pretty good.
All right.
Yep, he did Chronicle.
Yeah, so basically what it kind of boiled down to is he kind of had this vision in his head for the grittier blah, 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 and the studio wasn't buying it. And basically he had a print that was ready to go, basically, and they chopped off the entire second half of the movie and turned it into the steaming pile of crap that it was. And
Yep, and then he went on Twitter and was like, I made an excellent Fantastic Four movie, and it's a shame you'll never get to see it.
Right.
It makes me wonder if there is going to eventually be a director's cut as they try to salvage something out of this.
I doubt it, because Fox never wants to believe that they've done anything wrong. I mean, they never brought back Firefly.
Well,
canceled
who was
Family
the studio
Guy twice, and
who was the studio that
did Blade Runner? Because Blade Runner
look that one up,
was originally a terrible movie, and the director's cut makes it one of the best movies of all time. Yeah, if they did something like that, maybe they could salvage it. But again, it's one of those things where I think it was probably a rights deal, and Ridley Scott might have had rights for a director's cut at some point. I don't know. Obviously, that's not going to happen here.
Warner Brothers.
Yep.
Warner Brothers. Okay. So,
yeah, but I mean, Fox recognized what they had done to X-Men and fixed it with Days of Future Past.
Right, and they set it up with New Class. What was it called? It was really good. First Class. Thank you. Yeah, First Class was really good, and then Days of Future Past was pretty darn entertaining. I mean,
and then it completely wiped out
the
bad stuff that had happened in the prior movies.
They retconned that right the hell out. Yep.
Which I thought was genius. It's the sort of thing that you don't see. Like, you see it so much in comics. The retcon is, like, so far as I'm aware, retroactive continuity is a thing that started in comics.
Pretty much,
where you're just like, actually, this is how it
happened. Doyle retconned Sherlock's death. But that's true. But it's when I think of somebody retconning something, I think of comic books. Sure.
And X-Men is the only franchise that I've actually seen do it. We've seen some reboots and stuff, but it was really fascinating to me. I'm like, pretty much the longest running superhero franchise did a retcon movie. I'm like, that's awesome. That's so true to the source material.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
I've done a lot of them, actually. As I'm running through various things in my head, they probably more than anybody else, but there are some others. I mean, Spider-Man's done it.
They've done reboots.
Well, that's
the thing. If you're talking about films, no, the only major.
No,
film...
I'm not talking about films. I was talking about comics.
Oh well, then that's a rabbit hole. Spend forever.
Everybody's retconned everything.
Yeah. Yep. But I was gonna say the only other films that recently that have done an actual retcon in their reboots are those god awful
Star Trek.
Yes, thank you for saying it. I couldn't bring myself to say it.
The best of the Treks.
The best Trek movies out there.
All right, thanks for watching, and we will see you.
Show's canceled. That's it. No more.
The only Star Trek movies that I actually own.
Oh, he's coming upstairs. He's going to murder you in your sleep.
I've seen like 4 Star Trek movies in my entire life, and 2 of those were the new ones.
Yeah.
No, wait, I've probably seen 6.
One of my first movies with my parents.
Damn it, I've seen like 8 or 9.
It's
How
hard
many are there?
There are a lot. There's
because at first I was not even thinking about like the next generation movies and stuff. I'm like, oh no, I saw those like Nemesis.
The before the Abram apocalypse, there were 10 Star Trek feature films. 6 original series, Generations, Transitional, and 3 Next Generation. 3 Next Generation. Yep.
First Contact.
Yeah. Although Nemesis in my book, actually, I will say Nemesis is even worse than Abrams' Trek. It's apocryphal. It's terrible. They should have left it in Jonathan Frakes' hands. They did not. Nobody wanted to do it. It was just a big steaming pile. But
what was the plot of that one?
Picard's half Romulan clone goes nuts and Data dies.
Yeah, I don't think I watched that one.
Good. Don't.
I saw Generations and I saw...
Generations was okay.
I liked it in a kind of like, oh man, guys from both series and they're doing stuffs and the 2 captains and they're together.
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the whole appeal of it, really, and the passing of the torch. They botched a lot of parts of it, but it was still okay. First Contact is by far and away the best of
that one was good.
The Next Generation movies. Insurrection was okay. I didn't really.
Oh, that's the one I didn't think.
Yeah, Insurrection was okay. It was. Some people I know really liked it because it was like a feature film version of just like a normal episode. It was very character driven. And that's not something you see a lot in the Trek films outside of a few exceptions in the original series. But yeah. Although you could make the argument that Picard's character drove First Contact, but there was still a lot of other things going on there too. Whereas in Insurrection, go ahead.
No, I was trying to remember which one was the one that I liked a lot when I was a kid, and it was 4. It was
absolutely, yeah,
with the whales and stuff.
Yes, yeah, everybody loves 4. Yeah, 4 is one of the funniest Star Treks you'll see. Absolutely.
4 was the one that my parents took me. It was one of my first movies, actually.
Yeah.
That and Throw Mama from the Train were the 2 movies that my parents took me to, and why they took me to Throw Mama from the Train is beyond me. I'm like, I couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 years old at that point in time. Movie is outstanding as an adult, but as a kid, it was it left a lot to be desired. But Star Trek, the whales, I still remember seeing that on the big screen and going, oh, that's so cool. And
All right. Well, while I appreciate a legitimate Star Trek conversation on this show, because I don't think we've ever had one, I do want to get back. I do want to get back.
It's because you're the only Trekkie on the show.
I know. Somebody has to carry that torch.
We've had plenty of good Star Wars conversations through the course of things. And
Star Wars is all right.
Sat there and...
I'll probably watch the new movie at some point.
Meanwhile, I wish that I would have gotten my hands on the tickets.
No, the new movie. Yeah, the new movie does look cool.
And the new movie.
It does look cool. I'm actually excited for it. I think Abrams is better suited for Trek or Star Wars than for Star Trek.
Yeah, straight up, because the Trek movies he did were essentially Star Wars movies.
Yes. Yeah. In a lot of ways.
It's like Star Wars movies with the Enterprise.
And Chris Pine, handsome man. I would eat a lot of pizza around him.
Oh, goodness.
Anyway, I wanted to get back to X-Men because we were talking about that a little bit. And you guys really don't want to see Anna Paquin back as Rogue.
I wouldn't mind.
Okay, you wouldn't mind. It was just Jay that...
It's just Jay is weird and hateful.
I am a hateful, spiteful individual. And honestly, I'll give her that she's never really had the opportunity to play Rogue, as Rogue is intended.
I mean, she's Rogue's age now.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Which she was
That's
not,
true.
16 years ago when they were filming the first one.
Wow, has it been that long?
Well, I don't know. It came out in, 2000? So it's been 15, which means they were probably filming like 16 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it's been that long.
Is it time for things to make you feel old?
Old?
All right, because I just recently did some research on this to torture someone. Ralph Macchio is 2 years older than Pat Morita was when they filmed The Karate Kid. The Little Mermaid came out closer in time to the moon landing than the present day. Yeah, that one just punched Jay in the heart. If the Wonder Years came out today, it would be set in the mid-90s.
Yeah. I had that same thought about that 70s show.
Yep.
Because it would be time for that 90s show based on when that 70s show came out.
Mm-hmm.
And Topher Grace, make it happen, man. You belong back on the small screen.
Yeah.
I want to see Topher Grace growing up into like
He's the red
is the red of the family now.
He's calling his son a dumbass.
Yeah. Good stuff. Anything else on your list, sir? Or was that the crowning gem?
Well, Ecto Cooler is apparently coming back. In celebration of the new Ghostbusters movie, which looks awful. But I just hate half of the cast. I hate half the cast. I don't have any problem whatsoever with the concept of like the female cast Ghostbusters that a lot of people seem to be like going crazy about. But I just hate half the people that they chose. There's so many really talented comedic actresses that they could have gotten, and I'm like, why those ones?
Ghostbusters for me, out of female comedic actresses right now, I would go with Olivia Munn. I would go with Amy Schumer and Sarah Silverman. Those are my Ghostbusters.
Oh man, Sarah Silverman would be such a good Ghostbuster.
She would be a great Ghostbuster.
Yeah.
Oh, but Olivia Munn is a good.
She's got it. Well, I know you hate Olivia Munn, but I don't. I'm more ambivalent towards her, but I think she is funny, and she is smoking. And the only problem I really have with her is that she's banging a Green Bay quarterback. But that's
what a reward is behavior.
Yeah, that's right. Green Bay is evil. It's such a great story. The hometown owns the team. No, screw them. They're in our division. They can die. And how do you go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers? That's just not fair. But anyway.
It's just really not. But I mean, ultimately they lost 3 straight. And
yes, they did, and I enjoyed every single one of those. But anyway,
and Thursday night they play the Lions.
Yeah, which we have a chance to go 2-0 against them this year. And if those are the only 5 wins we get this year, I'm perfectly happy with that. Yeah. Anyway, enough Sports Biscuit. We did it again.
What is happening to us?
I don't know what else
me,
we got
I've
going
always been RJ and I have both always been him a diehard Wings fan, me a diehard football fan, and hockey in general. But you we're very much and always have been the F sports type, and yet here you are chiming in. So,
well, it's true.
Better question is,
Weird.
what happened to you?
I discovered that if you don't have cable, there is literally nothing else on television on weekends. And so I found myself in a situation, like, it was really weird this year, where I would be laying around on my couch. It'd be a Sunday afternoon. I'd be thinking to myself, I don't want to watch something I've seen a million times before, but I also don't want to watch something that I have to focus on, because I'd kind of like to just doze and kind of halfway nap all afternoon. And that's what football is for, man.
Yes, it
like,
is.
you just put it on, and it's exciting enough that you're like, yeah, I'm invested in something. But at the same time, matters little enough that you can fall asleep and wake up later and be like, oh, stuff happened. That's cool. It's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do with it. No, actually, years ago, it's been years ago now, but every Lions fan will remember the catch in the process with Calvin Johnson against the Bears, the potential game-winning touchdown. I had been watching the game. I did exactly what TJ was talking about there. I had fallen asleep, and I was awakened by this horrendous shout from my neighbor. Like, something must have happened in the game. And that was the whole thing that happened there. But anyway, I love how to this day, anytime somebody's calling a Lions game, they have to make at least one mention of the process. But
contractual obligation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's probably our clue that we're about done here, ready to wrap it up, right? Anything else burning?
Else?
We did get a comment last week on the main show from Mike A.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It was something to the effect of TJ looks like a Sasquatch had a baby or something like that.
Yeah,
no, I didn't
probably.
look it up. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's a friend of mine. And he has decided that he is going to troll every episode of the show that we do. He texted me and was like, hey, is it cool if I troll your show? And I'm like, well, I guess any engagement is good engagement, but I really didn't. I don't know that if I said no, you would not. And he's like, oh, no, I would certainly keep at it, but I figured I'd ask regardless. I'm like, okay, there you go.
It's decent. It's the polite thing to do.
So we have our first troll now.
Yeah, so
and
congratulations,
our troll
Mike.
has a name. Yes, congratulations, Mike. And our first continuous contributor there in Steve. So we've got the... We've
gotten a lot from Raven and Dave too, so you know.
Yep. Also, Mike Mallow.
Yep, we've gotten. A lot of people have contributed over the years,
and we appreciate it. We appreciate it so much.
We do.
And even the trolls.
Even the trolls. Yeah, we appreciate it. It helps our ego. We hope, and also, honestly, it makes us think that you know this is fun for you, and because it's fun for us most of the time. But when it's not fun for us, we try to focus on the fact that it's fun for some people out there. That's why we keep doing it. So let us know. Give us that thumbs up. You know, give us that affirmation that we're doing good, guys. We're doing good for you.
Doing good stuff.
All right.
TJ, will you be cleanly shaven next week?
Yep. I almost broke down and shaved today so that I could be nice and clean shaven for the first day of December. Then I realized that we were going to be filming this, and I'd have been caught like cheating out.
Oh, we could have just told people we recorded it tomorrow.
But no, today is the last day of November.
Yes.
I am still super fuzzy, but not tomorrow, man.
Not tomorrow. All right. Well, next week we'll be back with clean shaven TJ.
Well, not super clean shaven, just more than this.
Yes. And yeah, we'll talk about some stuff. We'll do some things. TJ did not sing a song this week, so maybe he'll come back next week with that. But you'll have to tune in to find out because we're getting out of here for now. For Jacob Gamble, for TJ Rathburn, I am RJ Velosky, and we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I would say that's one of the many things that puts the mana in our biscuits.